Hello.
Hello.
Well, the good news is that the snow has let up. Well, it's a little bit light, but there's not much of it. See there's just a little bit of snow. Maybe it's blowing away. Whoops. There it goes. The snow has gone away. And we continue our journey talking about Kundalini. And here's where we are. This is where we left off. And this is the portion of this section that Kundalini Prana is made to flow in Sushumna. Most of the time of most of our day, energy flows in the left or right side, Ida or Pingala. Most noticeable by the fact that most of the time one of our two nostrils is more dominant than the other. Then we, in this number 2, we start to try to get them to balance. And this leads to, see the black arrow, this is where we are in this thing. And so this is where prana flows in Sushumna. And then Kundalini awakens. These are series here. And then it rises. And then she reaches the crown chakra, is the imagery there. And so we were just kind of going through these, working our way down. Kriya and Kundalini Yoga. The practices related to motion along the spine are often referred to as part of Kriya Yoga or Kundalini Yoga, as well as being part of Pranayama or science of breath, which is known as Swara Yoga. Each of these places great emphasis on work with Sushumna channel. Now, the reason I put this comment here, that I put this paragraph here, is that there are many people who like to say, I practice Kriya Yoga. When Swami Yogananda Giri, commonly known as Paramahansa Yogananda, came from India to the West, including setting up a big teaching center in Southern California, as well as some smaller ones elsewhere. For some reason or another, they used the term Kriya Yoga for what they're doing. And you may recall that in Sutra 1 of Chapter 2 of the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali says, Tapas Svadhyaya Ishvara Pranadhana Kriya Yoga. And so he refers to Kriya Yoga as being Tapas Svadhyaya and Ishvara Pranadhana, which are the three last, third, fourth, and fifth of the niyamas. But there he calls it Kriya Yoga. The word Kriya simply is another word for actions. So a common language phrase that one yogi will ask another person in India is, what is your Kriya? It's like in common English language, we say to a person about their career job, we say, what do you do for a living? Or just simply, what do you do? And we say, well, I'm a doctor, or I'm an accountant, or I'm a school teacher, or something like that. But the phrase is, what do you do? And so when you say to a person, what is your Kriya? It simply means to say, what particular sadhanas do you do? Well, somehow this term Kriya Yoga got co-opted and turned into a sort of brand name of that certain institutional group of people. And then it created some controversy because then there were some spin-off people and they were doing Kriya Yoga. And then some other people read some of the books and maybe went to some workshops or seminars, and then they went off and invented their own version of Kriya Yoga. So the term Kriya Yoga has become rather controversial in our modern world. At the same time, one Sikh man came from India, from North India. A Sikh man came from North India to the West, and he told his students that he was teaching Kundalini Yoga. And so they have been very successful in the marketing sense, and so they have created a brand name out of Kundalini Yoga. And I'm mentioning this to you not to complain about people, to say this is the reason I put this paragraph here just to say that at the core, everything has to do with the Sushumna channel. So if we create an institution and we say we do Kriya Yoga, and then the teachings are secret, and then you become sworn to secrecy so that you will not tell other people about your practices, it helps keep the secret that what it has to do with is the Sushumna channel, and that what's being done is internally doing a practice where in one way or another you are visualizing or imagining that you are breathing up and down your spine. And so that becomes called Kriya Yoga. And if you're talking about the energy itself, which is Kundalini, then you call it Kundalini Yoga. It's a way in which in our modern world, people have created brand names, and in some cases either succeeded or tried to succeed in getting trademarking done in particular countries. Probably the worst country of that is the USA, of giving people proprietary rights to some of these terms. Anyway, this has not happened to my knowledge with the term Swara Yoga. That's kind of a traditional yoga. So anyway, the idea of Kriya applied with yoga is a very ancient term, well-known. Tapas Svadhyayesvara Pranadhana Kriya Yoga. Patanjali uses the term. I think it's in the Bhagavad Gita somewhere too. So it's not that there is a separate thing called Kriya Yoga that is the domain of these authorized people. And then we have debates, public fights. We have Facebook arguments over who are the authorized by whom I don't know, teachers of Kriya Yoga, or who is authorized to teach Kundalini Yoga. Well, guess what? There's nothing but Kundalini. There is Shiva as pure potential, and the manifesting process of that pure potential is Shakti. So it's the masculine and feminine notion. And these are universal terminologies. When Shakti, that universal consciousness, comes to reside in a bowl, so to speak, at the base of the spine, and the name for bowl is Kunda. So you have Shakti resting in a bowl. So sometimes you see the term Kundalini Shakti. It just means the Shakti is residing in the bowl, which is commonly said that the Shakti has fallen asleep in the first chakra, in the Kunda, and hence it's called Kundalini. That Kundalini is like a pot of steam boiling. And that energy that steam that comes off that kunda, that pot of boiling consciousness, that is called prana. The prana flows in patterns. The patterns are called nadis. Nadis usually get translated as channels. And when we call it a channel, it sounds like there's a pipe, like a water faucet in your kitchen. You turn on the water faucet, water comes out the pipe. So we get the impression that there are pipes called nadis and prana are flowing in the pipes. Actually, it is the flow of the prana itself that creates the appearance of there being a pipe. So
it's like a lightning.
It's like lightning, yeah, lightning in the sky. When you see the lightning bolt, it appears to be going like down a wire or something, but of course there is no wire. Good metaphor, Raj. Thank you. And anyway, so Shakti in the bowl is called Kundalini. The energy coming off of that is called prana, which flows in nadis. When the nadis crisscross here and there, they create highway intersections. Big highway intersections are called chakras. Little highway intersections are called marmastanas or marmas. So the yogis have figured this out a very long time ago. So again, I put this paragraph here just to not get confused. After these energy systems are balanced, the vigorous breathing practices and pranayama energizes and awakens the latent energy. This effect is dominant in the right vagus nerve, as well as the subtle energy systems beyond the physical body. along with the pranayama, the locks, the bandhas, channel the energy into awakening. And I'll make here a verbal comment here. I don't claim authority on any of this stuff. So in some sense, I put this article together just because I felt like it should be there. There should be something there that is a way of summarizing this Kundalini process. And so I did not want to confuse this thing by putting lots of little footnote references to page numbers out of books, because it would have added confusion. So, everything I know has come from my tradition, and that predominantly through Swami Rama. And so that's where the credit of all of this goes. I don't know anything about the right vagus nerve. I learned it from Swami Rama. And then in my talks with doctors and anatomical people that understand physiology, they explain to me the right vagus nerves, and I've read about it. And so it makes perfect sense. It lines up with what Swami Rama is saying. And so it's kind of obvious that there is a correlation between physical and subtle energy. The root lock, or Mula Bandha, is performed by contracting the perineum muscles that are at the flat space between the genital area and the anus. By contracting this muscle group, the normally downward flowing energy, apana vayu, is pulled upwards and gradually uniting with the upward flowing energy, prana vayu, at the navel center. The root lock has the effect of causing prana to flow in Sushumna channel rather than along Ida and Pingala. So the root lock is one of the things that can help with this Sushumna business. You don't have to hold it for very long, but just the attempt to do it is helpful. At the first chakra is the root kanda, out of which all of the subtle energy channels or nadis originate and go outward through the subtle body. It is located at the perineum between the genitals and the anus. At this root is the mouth, or opening, of the Sushumna channel, as well as Chitini Nadi and other fine nadis that are within Sushumna, like a fine stream inside of finer holes. You can imagine that there's a stream of light flowing inside of a bigger hose. So maybe the big hose is, I don't know, an inch diameter, and the little hose is a couple millimeters or something like that. Rather than being a temporary experience that happens during the natural transition of nostril dominance, as we already talked about, the balanced flow of prana is now sustained for a longer time during the period of meditation. So we get a freebie. There's a natural switching of nostril dominance and Ida and Pingala during the day. It's very natural. But as yogis, as meditators, we will gradually be able to maintain that Sushumna opening for longer periods of time while we're sitting for our meditation, is the principle. Sometimes it's a feeling sensation in the spine, and possibly Pratyahara, the fifth of the 8 rungs. Okay. I don't know what happened. It happened again.
Rebecca.
Oops, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is goofy. Hi, Nilesh. Hi, Bob. Hi, Nellie. I missed the hellos. Hi, Roseanne. Hi, Joe. We had another little glitch here. Hello, Ashish. And had a little crash temporarily. Hi, Inika. Hello, Gravinder. Hi, Hashim. Hello, Inika. Hi, B. Hi, Nilesh. Anyway, so we just, my thing here, just my control panel here, all of a sudden, the PDF graphic just falls out and the picture of my smiling face just falls out. And you are left with a black screen with a decoration on it. This I put here just because when we do the Sushumna, the senses come racing in. And this is just a graphic pointing out, this is about smelling, this is about tasting, this is about seeing, this I'll have one in a little bit, thank you.
It's about tasting.
This is about touching, and this is about hearing. It's just a way of sensing, of pointing out that we all are, if we talk about attachments, what we are most attached to is our attachment to the senses. It's not merely the objects out there that we get attached to, we get attached to the use of the indriyas. Why is it that in yoga there's so much emphasis placed on the relationship with the world, purifying and training body, senses, exploring habits, and breathing? It is solely so that you can come to this place, this plateau of peace, from where you might begin the final climb to the peak of spiritual mountain. All of these practices have to do, in some sense, with pratyahara so that we can do the deeper practices. When we're swimming in shakti and prana and kundalini, what, did it die again?
No.
Oh, yeah, we can see it up there. See, I have to make this big, Adi, so I can see it on the screen here. If I try to look here, I can't see it. It's too small. Prana flowing in Sushumna is one of the critical points. The entire journey can be summarized in 3 steps, again, borrowed from Swami Rama. First, awakening Sushumna, which is the subject here. Second, awakening Kundalini. Third, Kundalini rising to Sahasrara, the crown chakra. And so, by being aware of this kind of 1, 2, 3, it helps us see there's a simplicity to the process. And the beautiful part of it, it seems to me, is that it gives us a first target. So a first target for every session that we're doing of meditation, first target is awaken Sushumna. Why do we work with asanas, body, and breath? Why do we do those practices? So that Sushumna is awakened. So it's not that there's a trademark, patented, systematic method of do these precise 40 asanas over a period of an hour or 2, and that's our system of Hatha Yoga. It's not that. There are many, many ways to work with the body, and they have an effect on Sushumna. Many ways to do with breathing, not the least of which is simple breath awareness and diaphragmatic breathing. And it has to do with the prana flowing in Sushumna. Prana flowing in Sushumna brings a great feeling of joy. Sukha mana. Sukha is joyous, mana is mind. Sukha mana. And one of the points of confusion with this is that this Sukha mana, it's not uncommon, that one will will interpret the Sushumna as being enlightenment or samadhi. Oh yes, I find samadhi easy. And what is being talked about is Sushumna awakening. Because
Feels good, though.
it feels very, very good. But let us recognize that it's not the end of the journey. It's a major step along the way. And we want to be able to do it. We want to be able to do this virtually every time we sit for meditation. I don't say it like that so we beat up on ourselves when sometimes it's just not going to balance out. And so get up and do something else. There's a feeling of intoxication of sorts, and the external world is forgotten. Dispassion, non-attachment, vairagya is there. And so it's a neat thing. Practice and not. Here's just a little graphic reminding that abhyasa and vairagya coming out of Yoga Sutras. I don't remember which sutra it is, 12 to 16. Abhyasa is seeking tranquility or peace of mind or equanimity or serenity, pick your word. And it goes along with cultivating non-attachment. And we never graduate from that. When the prana flows through Sushumna, the body seems indestructible. Now, it's not indestructible, but as it has been left behind in attention moves inward. And so one begins to experience fearlessness, or so it seems. It's not that there is no fear, but we have that feeling. Literally, we're sitting there, everything is really, really cool. Nothing is troublesome. We have peace of mind. But here, I already said this, can easily be confused with Kundalini Awakening. As you feel tranquility along with the warmth flowing in the levels, this calmness is very alluring. And when reading books about Kundalini Awakening, it can seem as if this is it. This is it. I'm there now. Now I'm there. I have a little ball of something here that showed up. I'm going to have a little bite of it. It's yummy.
Very yummy.
Very yummy.
You made it yourself.
No.
Mom made me.
Both prana and kundalini are forms of the universal energy of shakti, though here at this stage it is still prana that is flowing. Look at the many forms of water we have. We have water that's called ice. We have a cup of tea. Yvonne is drinking a cup of tea, huh?
Snow.
There's snow. See what? See, here
Steam.
comes. Oh, here comes. There's steam. There's many forms of water.
There's humidity.
See, look at that.
There's a hot tub.
There's a hot tub. Boy, that sounds fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's the
That's
ocean.
real Kundalini. because
We
it's
could go out to the
steam.
ocean this afternoon. Would you like to go to the ocean this afternoon?
It's a beautiful day. I think
It would be a beautiful day to go to the ocean. We can run the ocean experiment and sit there and watch the waves and the ocean. Very fun game.
with our Starbucks.
And we
Finally,
can,
we go to the ocean.
huh?
Finally, we go to the ocean.
Finally, I took you to the ocean. We went there a few days ago. We even saw a dolphin.
That was not ocean-like.
It was more bay.
It was
That's
cool.
the channel between the ocean was right there, and there's
It
this.
was still water.
It was water.
So
But we'll also take
we
you
do
to the
not
real
complain.
I
ocean.
want the full experience.
But it is not the ocean, it's the Gulf of Mexico.
I know.
That's an ocean.
It's
It's
a pretty,
all
pretty big
water.
body of water.
People
It's
get
all
confused
water.
over ocean and Gulf.
These children do not fight.
Yeah, please, children, do not fight.
Please, Guruji, take me to the ocean.
Swamiji, look over there.
Mind is a barrier. At this stage of practice, a barrier is commonly encountered. This really is true. I got my Sushumna awakening. Ego wants to call it samadhi and wants to say that the journey is over. Now I'm Buddha. It's very, very tempting. And then after some period of time, what happens? Here comes the unconscious mind.
Surprise!
Surprise!
Surprise, surprise.
And all of a sudden you're getting waves of anger and fear and confusion. It was all making so
all
much.
kinds of weird desires and
Yeah.
distractions.
What happened?
And all of that is underneath or beyond the Sushumna that brings the peace of mind and the calmness. The undercurrent, Raj says, yes. This is because the attention is actually coming further inward, leaving behind the external world. Even the body and the gross breath are now seeming to be external. We just started talking about that a little while ago in the Yoga Sutras.
So they're all related?
They're all related. Oh my. It is here at the door of the joy of prana flowing in Sushumna that you more fully encounter the contents of the mind, the unconscious mind. And none of us wants to do that. None of us. But when it happens to somebody called me, it seems shocking. So this is when often somebody will seek out somebody like me to talk to, say, I'm having problems. And let me tell you all the dramas in my life that have happened, all these memories that are coming to. What does it mean? And I'm not complaining about that. I'm saying this is natural because it's new to the person called me. And where is all this crap coming from? What's wrong with me? What's happening? And there's nothing wrong with me. It's just that we have some scars that are in the latent form in the deep unconscious. And when we get Sushumna to awaken, and the body is still and the breath is smooth and Sushumna is awakened, and the conscious mind becomes quiet, then somewhere along the way, the veil starts to thin between conscious and unconscious, and here comes the unconscious mind. And it's shocking. And it's so shocking that it has a feeling of, why is this not happening to other people? If you know other people who are meditators, it just all of a sudden it seems like everybody else is just having a nice, wonderful, peaceful life. And I feel like I'm falling apart. I'm going crazy or something like that. So it feels very, very personal, which it is. But when we say, so what's happening? What is this? The real answer is, well, it's just your unconscious. Now,
I can't wait for it to happen.
none of us wants to hear this. None of us likes this answer. Well, it has no meaning. It means you have some scars. But what does it mean?
10:30.
As if there's some other spiritual significance to it. And all it means is that there's unconscious some scars.
It's progress.
It's actually progress. I have found myself at times when somebody's telling me how bad it is, and I say to them, well, congratulations, I'm happy for you. What? It's a shock. What do you mean you're happy for me? You want me to suffer? No. It's not wanting you to suffer. But it's a sign of progress when you think you're going crazy.
Yeah.
Join the happy few.
Join the happy queue.
Happy few.
Few. Not few or
Was there a connection between water and prana, Bob says? The connection only being that water has a beautiful flowing quality to it. That's part of it. And so it's a beautiful metaphor. So prana flows and it keeps transforming and operating in different ways. So water can be an ice cube it can be a cup of tea, it can be the ocean, it can be urinating. I mean, it's all water. It's just it's a symbolic way of talking about something we're all familiar with that just keeps changing form. And when And when the prana changes form, we give it a new name. When it's flowing in streams, we call it nadis. When it's crisscrossing in big highway intersections, I think of a highway intersection. For me, when I say highway intersections, I think of this really huge highway intersection that's on the east side of Dallas, Texas. I don't know why it always sticks in my mind, because I've been through there quite a few times. And it's an absolutely amazingly complex networks of highways that intersect and overpass bridges and all like that. And that's kind of like a chakra. Little highway intersections of prana are little sleeping little, two-road little intersections. Those are called marmas or marmastanas. So when we do the 61 points exercise, which is part of what we do in the preparation for Yoga Nidra, probably most of you have done that. Those big centers are chakras. Most of those little ones are marmas or marmastanas, doesn't matter which you call it. And it just makes the mind happy to have a name. Oh, marmastana. I can call it a marmastana. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
That's really cool.
But it doesn't really need a name. That's our total antakara and the ego structure that likes to have names to go on with things. So
I'm focusing on marmastana.
I'm working on my marmastanas today. How are you doing? How are you doing with your marmastanas? Huh?
My marmastanas are shining.
You go to the Kundalini restaurant. You say, I'd like an order of fried marmastanas to go, please, and a bowl of liquid prana to wash it down with.
Sounds yummy.
This is yummy.
It's really yummy.
So I'm playing around with this stuff because it's so easy in this whole Kundalini conversation. We're not doing this, but it's so easy with book authors and discussions and debates to make it very, very complicated. And it's not complicated. I was sitting on the roof of our ashram in Rishikesh in India one day, many years ago, trying to think, I have an article that I wrote about this, and we've been through it before, we'll do it again. But I was sitting on the roof, pondering one day, because we were trying to teach people this stuff in retreat programs. And I thought there's got to be a simple way to explain this process, because it's just not that complicated. And I had too gone through years of thinking and reading and studying and confusion, and it's so complicated. And then after a few years of doing it, it wasn't complicated anymore. So I'm sitting there thinking, how to explain this? I was sitting on the roof, looking out in front of me was the Ganges, the river Ganges, coming through Rishikesh. And it was wintertime, so the river was moving very slow, and about 1 kilometer downstream, there's a dam. So the river right in front of me looked more like a lake than a dam. It was moving very slowly because it was not monsoon season. And suddenly I got this flash, this instant insight. The whole insight came to me in a moment, that here is a river here, and a river has potential energy because it's backed up behind a dam. And then they allow the water to run down this canal. And when you're walking by that canal, the water moves pretty fast. It goes downstream about 12 kilometers to a generating plant. So the running water goes through a generator thing and turns some sort of fan blades. And it creates in some metal iron things with wires wrapped around it. If you can look at YouTube or something, Google, how a generator works. And it turns blades and it creates electromagnetic energy. So it's magnetic energy and it's electrical energy. And so it keeps transforming, and every time it transforms, it gets a new name. Then the electricity goes down a wire, and the wire comes back to the ashram. It goes a lot of other places. And so here, coming into the ashram, the light bulb that's providing light that's coming down is the same energy that's in the river that's in front of me. The energy that's blowing the fan, the ceiling fan is turning, and there's a light breeze blowing down. That energy is coming from the river. And I hear a temple upstream. I hear from this temple in a big bullhorn some chanting of some mantras. and it's coming. I can hear it coming down the river. The energy in the sound coming down the river is exactly the same energy that's the river. So the potential energy in the river is flowing down kinetic energy of motion. It's magnetic energy. It's electrical energy. It's light energy out of the light bulb. It's the air energy coming out of the ceiling fan, and it's the music energy coming from the temple upstream. It's all the same energy. It just keeps changing forms. That's the simplicity of this whole thing. And I don't know about you. If you like to make things complicated, have a ball. If you like simplicity, think of that river. And so this is part of what the water thing is about. It just keeps changing form. It is 0 degrees here in Chicago. Please enjoy the ocean for me. Yes, we will. 0, huh? Boy, brr. I used to live in Chicago. You knew that, though. That was in the late 1970s. I was there for the blizzard of 79. It was one of the famous.
What's the name of it?
It is famous. It was the blizzard of 79.
Did it have a name?
It had a name.
3 years old.
You were 3 years
I
old?
was a 2.5,
Teenager.
and the snow is taller than me.
Anyway,
79. There was a strong winter in Holland also.
well, yeah. Well,
It was a
you.
worldwide thing.
It was a worldwide blizzard.
Whoa.
It was
It
like
was.
a mini ice age.
And it was something like, I've forgotten, 23 or 24 inches of snow
Right
overnight.
was not in the body yet.
And the funny thing was, I was out walking in the park when this blizzard was going on.
Body.
And this is fascinating. This is funny how people cross paths. I saw a man walking a dog in the park. It was the biggest dog I've ever seen in my life. This was not a Great Dane. I don't know what it was, but it was more like a horse.
He wasn't riding it though, right?
No, he wasn't, but he was out walking this dog. And that was in 79. And in the 1990s, in Rishikesh, in India, one of Swami Rama's students was coming to town, and he brought along with him a friend. Well, this friend I met, and we were chatting. He was from Chicago, and we got talking about weather, snow in Chicago, and somehow we got to the blizzard of 79, and somehow in this conversation he mentioned that he was a dog owner. And I said,
Oh.
you did not happen to be walking your dog the evening out in whatever the name of the park was, I forgot now, where you did not happen to be walking your
That big ass dog.
your really big dog out in whatever park it is along Lakeshore Drive during the blizzard of 79. He says, yes, in fact, I was.
Holy cow.
I said, you and I crossed paths.
20
in the
years
park.
ago. Or
And it was like 20 years before, like that.
Wow.
That's-
Nice example also of pleasure. We remember and get stored.
Yeah, it's funny. The whole thing is just fascinating. And
it stuck out for you, that big dog.
And so there's a principle there. And this is kind of what can happen in our sadhana when we make a mistake or we make a stupid turn in life and we say, oh, I really screwed up my life. It doesn't seem to be that way. Another opportunity seems to always present itself, just like a man in the park.
That is so strange. It's not strange, but
No, it's not. But it's nice to
seems-
have moments like
Yeah.
that.
Life.
Huh?
That's life.
Yeah.
It's the way life works. It's the way sadhana works. It's the principle that if we're staying on track, it's what Swami Rama said to me and what he said that Bengali Baba told to him. If you will do the practices, the obstacles will be removed. All you got to do is do your thing, and the obstacles will be removed.
That's a good deal.
And what he said it publicly. It's in the video lectures if you want to watch it, if you're curious. He said, all I can do is make to you the same promise that was given to me. And that's the key. I took him up on it. And I found that he told the truth.
I'll take your words for it.
And it wasn't because I had great faith. I had total doubt. But this is
Total doubt.
total doubt, but I'm going to roll the dice on it. Give it a shot. Maybe it's true.
There's a question of Sri Priyangshree.
Okay, I will move up there.
I think it likes to know where you can find this article. I think.
Where you can find what?
Well, he's asking, are there multiple files? Doc.
Multiple files of what?
I think he meant, where can I find this on your website? I think that's what he's asking.
This,
I don't know, but it's easily found.
if you go to swamij.com and you want to see this in its website version, just type in Kundalini Awakening and it'll give it right to you. It's something like swamij.com/kundalini-awakening.htm. If you want to see this printed PDF version, it's on the Abhyasa Ashram Satsang group that you're looking at right now. If you're on your computer right now and you look to the left column of your browser, you will see a thing called Files. You'll see a link on the left column called Files.
The Kundalini on the top.
I'm sorry, what?
There's the Kundalini button on the top. If you take that one, you come in.
You can do that. There's several ways to get there. On the website, if you want to look at the website version of it, and it's like 6 or 7 separate pages.
Yeah.
But if you want this PDF version that we're exploring here, I made this PDF version from the one on the website. They say the same thing, but I made this so it's part of the download files in some of, I don't remember where we put it, but it's in one of the Udemy courses. I think it's in the Blending Yoga Vedanta Tantra course. So I turned it into a PDF file so all of it's in one page. And it's, when we started this conversation a couple of weeks ago, the question was raised. And while we were during the session, I went and uploaded it there onto the Abhyasa Ashram Satsang group that's in Facebook, which is what you're looking at right now on your computer. And if you look at the left column of your Facebook page, when you're on, not your Facebook, when you're on the Abhyasa Ashram Satsang Facebook page group, on the left side, there's a column of choices, right? You see it?
No, I wasn't looking.
All right, looked like you were looking for something anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, there it is. Breath, in leaving the external world behind, the mental world truly comes forward. It is that depth of mind that is beyond subtler, more interior to the senses, the physical body, and the gross breath. Breath is very subtle here. Attention is still in the flow, but less in the physical breath. It's more and more, it's in the prana behind the physical breath. It's what pranayama is about. It is more on the edge, the borderland of experiencing the prana as energy in itself rather than a manifest flow of material breath. At this stage, it is imperative to practice the companions of one-pointed concentration and non-attachment. The ability to concentrate means having the ability
see.
Back.
Because it is. Yeah. We're back again.
Are we back?
We are.
We're back. Okay, what were we talking about? Oh, is Sankalpa Shakti. Shakti in the form of determination. We say, I want Kundalini awakening. I want to awaken my Kundalini. I get emails from people who say, please tell me how to awaken my Kundalini. Do you have a technique for that? And I say, yes, it's the entire subject of yoga. It's everything we're doing. It's all directed towards that. And more often than not, people don't find that a satisfying answer because they're accustomed to this modern world where people are selling very expensive workshops where you come and you basically do hyperventilating. You do hyperventilating breathing practices. Your brain gets dizzy and you almost pass out.
That's Kundalini.
And it gets called Kundalini awakening. And it's not. It's stress. It is creating stress. It's the arousal of the sympathetic nervous system. I'm not saying that to be complaining about the state of our world of yoga or anything, but it's true. That one of the first signs of activity with Kundalini is a determination that comes, and that's called the Sankalpa. And that is even the Sankalpa that says, I have figured out how to awaken Sushumna, and now I am going to sit here and enjoy this quiet. And not that I'm going to have the determination to get rid of these troublesome thoughts. Rather, it's the determination that says, I don't care what the hell comes from my unconscious mind. I am not going to be disturbed by it. I'm not going to be distracted by it. I'm sitting here breathing. Now that's pretty cool. And we just lost it again. I don't know why this thing is being goofy. I'm there, but it's being moody.
It's still there.
I'm there, but the file went away. Now it's back too. Anyway. And then the next section is Kundalini energy awakening. And I'll just comment here. We should pause here, but I want to comment here that when we look here and that I've got these 6 bars here, and you look on the website, and let's see, I've got this here. I'll show you here. When you look on the website, I had this here. Now, with a little luck, this is going to work nicely here. Wait a minute, everybody. Just wait just a moment.
Seems to work.
Huh?
Seems to work.
Seem to work. This is the website. See, there's the website header there. And so each one of these is a separate page. So if I click on Kundalini Awakening, if I click on this one, it will take us to that page and see it's got a red box around it. So when I did